Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This one I'm so excited for. It is a 24-hour reading challenge, and I've seen so many of my favorite YouTubers do this one, so I cannot wait to attempt it. Right now, I'm in the middle of reading Bride, and I wanted to just start it now. I was gonna start fresh and just start something out of this pile, but I've just decided that I am going to continue with the book I'm reading right now, which is Bride. And if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Summer. On this channel, I obviously read lots of books. I do book vlogs, often take you book shopping with me. I talk about Kindles because they are one of my very favorite things. And I do a monthly tarot reading because I started as a tarot channel. So if all of that sounds good to you, then make sure you subscribe to get videos every week. So let's get into this challenge. Let's talk about what I'm currently reading. Let's talk about how much I have left, and let's talk about all the options that I have to read in the next 24 hours. I'm also going to put my own spin on this. A lot of people like to see how many books they can read in 24 hours. I am going to see how many pages I can read in 24 hours because I'm honestly just curious. I love gamifying things and I love tracking things. So we're gonna see how many books I can read, but also just track the page amount so I can just see how many pages I read. And I know that will probably vary based on genre and how difficult the book is to read, things like that. So I am about halfway through Bride right now. So that's my first book. My next book option is Dune, although I was going to possibly read and annotate this one with you guys. It's quite a lengthy book, and I read it back a very long time ago along with a bunch of the other Dune books, but I haven't read it in a long time and I want to read it again before I go see Dune Part 2. We also have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This one is also a huge book, and maybe I could make some progress on it in the next 24 hours, although I have heard it takes a while to get into this world, but it looks so good. Our next option is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I've just been hearing so many good things about Lauren Asher books, and I really want to get into them and check out her writing. So this one, everyone keeps telling me it feels like you're at Disneyland, and I can't pass that up. So that's definitely one of my strong options. This one is on Kindle Unlimited, but I picked up the physical version from Target because it's just really soft and really pretty, and I had a Target gift card, so again, who can pass that one up? And also, as I'm going through these in the comments, let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if any of these are a favorite, one that I should definitely pick up in case I don't in this video. The next one I got from Book of the Month, and this one I searched for a couple vlogs ago. I'll insert which one it was, I think, if I remember which one, but I was searching for this book, and then it happened to be a Book of the Year winner from Book of the Month, so I got it for free. I'm so excited to read it. This one I think is like, it's about a podcast, but then she becomes the subject of the podcast. And then another one that I have is First Lie Wins. This one is also a Book of the Month, and it just seems like it is a thriller that would catch my attention for sure. I also, speaking of thrillers, have so many library books. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put them on the screen right here. But one of them is The Coworker by Freida McFadden, and I just got the audiobook for it. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I could technically read it at any time, but I am such a mood reader that I feel like I just need to read what I'm in the mood for. And the book that I was reading before I read Bride, if you were watching my last vlog, I just wasn't in love with it, and I was really forcing myself through it, and I wasn't very happy. I am gonna finish Bride. I'm absolutely loving Bride so far. I feel like it's gonna be a 5-star read for sure. Then we'll see where I go from there, and we'll see just what I'm feeling. I don't want to feel pressured to finish the library books just because they're gonna go back soon, although this would be a great opportunity to just get some of them finished. We're gonna go with what I'm feeling, what I want to read to follow up Bride with when I'm done with it. Stay tuned. I'm gonna start that 24-hour clock, and let's see how many pages I can read. Okay, the sun has set. We are starting my 24-hour reading challenge to see how many pages I can read in 24 hours. So I have Bride, I have some snacks, and I'm starting in the middle of Bride, but as we discussed, I have all of these options as well as some on my Kindle from the library. So once I finish Bride, then I can start in on something here, or maybe on my Kindle. We'll see what I'm feeling at the time. And in Bride, I'm on page 178. So that's officially our lucky number for what I'm starting with is page 178, so that I can see how many pages I've read in the first hour. And every hour I'll kind of do a little check-in and see how many pages I've read. I'm actually very curious to see if I read more pages on my Kindle or physically, because some of these books I only have the physical version, so we shall see. So let's go ahead and let's start my first hour. Here we go. So I missed the hour mark by just a little bit because I was too busy reading. So that was like an hour and 8 minutes. And I'm now on page, let's see, 253. So I'll do some quick math and I will update the reading log for hour number 1. So I guess these aren't going to be entirely exact because the fact that there are like 8 extra minutes in that hour, but it'll just still be fun to see the approximate amounts per hour. So let's keep reading. I made this little sleepy time drink with magnesium and tart cherry juice, and I thought it was perfect for reading Bride because obviously she is a vampire, so just felt like it was fitting. Okay, so this one I managed to catch a little bit more exactly on the hour, and this one I managed to read from 2:52 all the way to 3:24. So I'll have to do the math on that, and I will add to the reading log for hour 2. And based on this, it kind of makes me think like that little chunk is what I read right here, and this last chunk is the rest of the book. I kind of feel like I could do that in an hour, maybe a little bit more. So let's go ahead and update the reading log and see what our page total is. All right, hour 3, let's go. Okay, I have some hibiscus tea that really looks quite blood red, so I can finish my vampire novel. Okay, I have 15 minutes left in this hour, and I have, let's see, oops, focus. And I have 12 minutes left in the book, so this actually might end perfectly with the hour and me ending Bride, and then I'll move on to something else. So I just finished Bride with 2 minutes left on the clock, so we're just gonna call it good. I'm gonna count the pages and add them up. Okay, that's so funny. I read the exact same amount of pages as I read last hour, so I'll update that on the little chart. So I read, I think 74, and then 72, or no, 72, 74, then 72, then 72. So we'll add up the grand total. Okay, so my running total is 218 for the first 3 hours of my 24-hour challenge. I think I'm gonna go to bed now, and in the morning I will choose which one of these I am going to start for the rest of my 21 hours of reading. Also, if you want to see the Bride vlog, that one, I don't know when it's going to be published, before or after this one, but I did just finish Bride and I indeed loved it. I gave it a 5 star. So if you want to see that whole entire read through, then go ahead and I will link that in the description. See you in the morning. Okay, so from where I left off from last night, I finished Bride. I absolutely loved it. You guys, this was a complete 5-star read for me, and I really hope there's a book number 2. Thank you, Bride, for being my very first book of the 24-hour reading challenge. And this morning, let's see what I'm going to start with. I kind of have a busy day, so I'm going to read as much as I possibly can in hour chunks. It might go into tonight. It might even go into tomorrow. It'll all definitely be within 48 hours, so this is kind of a 24 in 48 challenge, if you will. This one I really want to read, but I feel like it's just too, I'm not in it just yet. Dune, I kind of want to annotate and make it its own video. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. Maybe I'll ask on my Instagram story or TikTok or in a short. So we'll see about that. I really am feeling one of these, I think. The Fine Print, First Lie Wins, None of This Is True, or The Coworker. I also have the stand-in on my library holds, and I'm so torn because I kind of want to make progress on my library holds, but I also really want to read one of these. Okay, I think, do I want a thriller? Honestly, following up Bride, I kind of just want something cute. I'm going to try this one. And I bet you anything, like, I know this looks like a chunk, but I've heard it goes by so quickly. I think there are 436 pages in that, but I've heard it goes by really quickly. And these ones, I don't have the Kindle version, so I can't hop back and forth. I'm gonna do the Fine Print. That's what I want for right now. But don't worry, because there will probably be another book in this video, because there's no way that this is the only thing, like Bride and this are the only thing I read in 24 hours. No, there will be more. So let's go ahead and let's start reading The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. And if I don't like it, I have so many lovely options. Okay, starting our timer, and let's see how The Fine Print goes. Okay, I'm just about to get started, but I actually love this playlist so much. Anything that has Bastille, Casey Musgraves. This is so good. The Cranberries, Taylor Swift. I love this so far. So let's see how it goes. Oh, okay. This is so fancy the way that this is designed. I love it. I can't wait to see what the roller coasters are about. Okay, this is so cute. So Dreamland kind of does sound like Disneyland. And it sounds like kind of the grandfather has created this situation in his will where each of the sons, which I need to go back and see who they all are. I think this one is the youngest one, Rowan, although I think the books are about all of them. So like each one of these books tells a different brother's story, which, hello, thanks to like L. Kennedy, I love that kind of thing. In order to be able to get his share of the company of what his grandpa left him, he has to become creative and like find that part of himself again. Which is so funny because in Bride, the main character was an architect and like needed to learn how to draw again, or not learn, but like find the passion for it. So it's so funny that in this one we have that connection again, because I feel like that always happens. Like whatever book I was just reading, there's a connection to the next one. So apparently Rowan has to become the director and bring the magic back to Dreamland. And that's his mission in order to inherit his share. So I just happened to look at the clock. Let's pause that. And then let's see how many pages I read in the last hour. This is going by really quickly. You can see that I read that big of a chunk in 1 hour. So I read 61 pages. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like counting the pages, I probably wouldn't do this again because I feel like it's kind of stressing me out a little bit. Like I'm thinking too much about how many pages. This was a little slower than Bride, but I feel like I was learning all the world building from the beginning, so we'll see. And again, I need to not make it a competition for myself. It's just we're seeing the average, I guess. So let me go ahead and do some math, and then we'll see how much I've read. Okay, so I'm at 279 pages, which I think honestly is quite a lot. So I'm going to stop for a little dinner break. Maybe I'll listen to the audiobook version of this so I can keep reading. And then I'll continue with my journey. Although, did I totally just take my book? Oh no, the bookmark slid. Oh, I was scared. I do like this. This really does feel like you're in Disneyland. And I'm definitely getting a lot about the characters. I feel like I like the way it's unfolding. I love these little, let me see if I can find one. I love these little castle symbols. They're so cute. And it really does, like if you're a person who likes Disneyland, you like kind of picture the castle and everything. This very much does feel like Disneyland. So I'm really enjoying it so far. Okay, I have 23 minutes left in this hour and I'm really enjoying this book. I used the audiobook for a little bit and now I'm at 21%. It says that based on my reading speed, I only have 4 hours and 48 minutes left, which means that I will be reading other books. So we shall see how fast I finish this and I will update you in 23 minutes on how many pages I read. Okay, so I made it to page 121, which makes things pretty even, and I'm really enjoying this book so far. I feel like I've read so much of it. It's kind of crazy. I've read that much in the past couple of hours. I have that much to go. My Kindle says I have like a little over 4 hours. And I like how I'm going between audiobook, print, and Kindle, but honestly, I don't know how people do this challenge. Like, the fact that I have 19 hours left, truly do not know how people do this. I'm in awe of you if you have completed this, especially multiple times. I think the next time I do it, I will just not count the pages. I think that's what's getting me. I think if I could just read and like read, pause, read, I think that would be better. But I feel like now that I've started it, I kind of have to keep going with it. I can't decide. Let's go ahead and let's log this hour. So that leaves my grand total for 5 hours at 339 pages. All right, let's keep going. So something that's kind of interesting is that like he's talking to his brother. Remember how he had 3 brothers at the beginning and each of them are responsible for doing something in order to get their inheritance. So it's kind of interesting that I'm wondering if all 3 brothers are having to complete their tasks at the same time, because this brother is like asking how his other brother's wife search is going. So I'm wondering if all 3 books happen at the same time. And these are so pretty, and it's making me want the entire set of all of them, because you can even see like it says 1, and I'm sure the other ones say like 2, 3. I just love Lauren Asher's writing. Also, like the fact that I've gotten this far through and I really don't feel like I've read this much of a book is crazy. Her writing is just so easy to read. I ordered the next 2 books at Target because I have a problem and because they're only $10, which is kind of a good deal. But I picked this new little reading background for, no, it's daytime, but I just like this one because I had one yesterday when I was finishing Bride, and I just decided I need a new one for today. These can really help your reading mood, I swear. Oops, I totally just missed my cue. Okay, so I made it to page 168. I kind of slowed down during that last portion because I think I am getting tired. So let's add up my pages, and it's okay. It's okay if I'm not like keeping up with my page count, because I'd rather be enjoying the book than have it be perfect. So let's do a little math, bringing my grand total to 386 pages, which honestly I think is pretty good for 6 hours. Can't believe I'm on hour 7. I'm excited, but like just a little bit worn out. I'm almost halfway through the fine print, and like I said, I did order the other 2 at Target because now I want the whole set, since I think that everything is going on at the same time with all the brothers. So I feel like I need to understand once I finish this one, keep reading it just for this video's sake, just because then it's just going to turn into the Dreamland Billionaires video. I'll probably read First Lie Wins or None of This Is True, or maybe When the Moon Hatched, just to give this video some variety. Let's keep going. Okay, we are moving scenery because I am very tired. So I'll read a little bit more before I go to bed, and we'll see how far I make it, because again, I'm not going to deprive myself of sleep for this. I know some people do, but it's just not in the cards for me. So I'll finish this up tomorrow, hopefully, but let's see how much I can read before I go to bed. Okay, so this line is honestly reminding me of Allie Hazelwood, which is kind of funny because, you know, we just finished Bride, but he has the emotional maturity of a robot and the appeal of rush hour traffic. Honestly, I saw some reviews of this book just like saying that this guy was just like a jerk. I'm like, yes, that's part of the character development, that he is a jerk and he has to obviously, hopefully, learn to be a better person. I'm 46% of the way in, by the way, and I have, let's see, 28 minutes left in this hour. So we'll see how much further I can go. I keep switching back between the physical. I'm using the physical book to like track the page numbers, so I just find the chapter when the timer goes off. But this is easier to read because I have less light in this room, so that's why we're all over the place. Stop, this is so funny. It's like being on the Haunted Mansion ride. Like, Dreamland really is kind of Disneyland-esque, and I don't know how Lauren Asher like got away with all this, because this is like verbatim nearly what happens in the Haunted Mansion ride. Like, I'm loving it, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of funny, and it's just like, it makes me feel like I'm in the book and in Disneyland, Dreamland. So I love it. This is also making me laugh because they're talking about like quick skip passes for that, and I'm just like picturing Disneyland lines, and thinking about how much you have to pay to get like the fast passes, although I don't, they're called something else now. I haven't been there in a couple years, but I know they're called something else, but they're so expensive and you have to like get them to make things worth it. So it's just so funny because I'm just like imagining them like running around Disneyland. It's dreamland, as I said, but I'm just loving the immersion because it's just so fun. Like Bride was fun, this book's fun. I love reading these fun books that are just like so unserious. Okay, actually though, the clicks, like there's this section where she talks about like the clicks of the coaster, where it's like, let's see, where is it? Oh, here it goes. This is my favorite part. The clicking sound grows louder and my heart pounds faster in my chest until we climb up the side of the volcano. And like, also guys, I feel like this isn't spoilers because like it takes place within a theme park. And I feel like it's not, like I'm not spoiling a ton, but if you hate this, obviously you can click off. But I just think this is so interesting because this is making me want to go to Disneyland so bad. And maybe Disneyland should be paying Lauren Asher an affiliate link, even though it's like not the same thing, but it is. Okay, so I have like 1 minute left, but I'm just gonna pause it because I got to the beginning of chapter 29, and so I figured this is just a better stopping point than trying to read for literally 1 more minute and 46 seconds. So chapter 29 on here, these little cute roller coasters, is 232. There's no page number, but 232. So let's do some math and then we'll add it up. Okay, I caught up a little bit there with 64. Doing a little bit better. I think it's because I read faster on my Kindle. Nice. 450 feels like a really even number to kind of leave this for. I think I'm gonna go to bed and I will leave it here. This feels like 450 is a really good page number. Being at like an actual chapter heading feels good. So I think I'll leave it here for the night. And we have 70, that's where I'm at. We have 17 hours left for tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. We are back at it. Okay, I've got my book. I also have I made an iced coffee this morning with some cinnamon. It looks like a ton of cinnamon, but it's just because it's sitting on the top. But I put like a double espresso and actually a protein shake in there with some cinnamon. And then once it all mixes together, it's really, really, really good. Okay, time for our check-in. I'm on page 275. Mark that and then do some math. I honestly feel like I was a little bit tired this hour, but I did drink about half of my protein coffee, so I'm feeling a little bit more awake. I'm like almost 3/4 of the way through, so now I'm starting to think about what I'm gonna read next. I kind of want a thriller, but we'll see. I read 43 pages this hour, which again, I'm not mad about because again, I'm tired today, so it's not that big of a deal. Brings me to 493 for my grand total for my pages read. And hopefully I'm doing the math right because that would be really embarrassing if one of you guys checks my math and it's not correct, but honestly, it's fine. It's just for fun. Keep going, get my timer up, and let's keep reading. 16 hours to go. So as you can see, we've kind of moved to my window area because it's so nice outside. I don't know if you can see the sun like kind of streaming in, kind of see the reflection on my hand there, but it is so nice outside, so I might actually take the audiobook and go for a walk. So I've made it to chapter 39, which is page 324. This is getting so cute. I feel like some of the critiques of this book say that the character development isn't good enough, or like it's just kind of vapid basically, but I've actually kind of found the opposite. I really I'm enjoying the characterization, I'm enjoying the development and kind of getting to see everything. It really is a chunk of a book though. Like you don't think it is because you're like, oh, it's just like a little romance. But no, like the font size, I was comparing this and Bride because I was like, why am I reading so much slower? It's actually quite a big difference. I have about this much to go, which I might finish in the next hour if I went really fast, but I have a feeling it's going to take me like an hour and a half-ish to finish that. Although it would be so inconvenient to switch books in the middle. But you know what? It's okay. We'll do what we have to do. There's a chance I might go to Target, and there's a chance I might go to a bookstore. There's a chance that my friend that you've seen in the other vlogs might come over for a readathon, or I might go to her house. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if it gets a little more interesting. But 3:24, let's do our math for the hour. So 5:42 is our grand total for right now. I highly suggest this one. I feel like so far it's going to be like a 4.5. We'll see what happens in the end, but it makes me really, really, really want to read the other 2 books in the series as well. Actually, I think I will switch to the audiobook version of this while I get ready to maybe go on a walk outside since it's so nice. So we'll just keep the clock going for right now. Does anyone else find it weird when a chapter starts on the right page? I don't know why. It's weird to me. So we're on chapter 47, which means we are on page 385, which just felt like a good place to stop even though I had like 1 minute left. And I bet you anything, I have like almost exactly 1 hour left in this book, just based on what the audiobook says and how much I have left on it. I'm so close. Like, and something crazy just happened. Like we got a revelation. And so I'm so excited to just finish it and kind of find out where that leads, because something unexpected but really sweet like kind of came up in a moment of conflict. But it's just something that I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all kind of pans out. And I think it's going to lead to book 2, honestly. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, that was so freaking cute. It had a little bit of a trope that I don't love, but I did cry a little bit over something else. So I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 5-star, 4.5, but I can't give it that. So whenever I do that, I just give it a 5-star on Goodreads and Amazon because I don't want to like make it lower than 4.5. So I round up. And then my very favorites, I just consider to be like 6-star reads. So I am going to download the second one. And I did start reading on my Kindle just because I just got so into it that I wanted to read more quickly. So let's see how many pages, because I was just going off of the physical version. Let's see how many pages there were. I think there's actually extra stuff, but there is an extended epilogue. So I'm going to read that and then I'll be back for stats. Cute. Okay, that didn't take me very long to read at all, and I'm actually in perfect timing. This one, so I guess this one, since it came from Target, it had like bonus content even past the regular epilogue, so thanks Target for that. And I'm gonna go pick up my other ones just because I'm really scared of that other cover. And these honestly aren't that expensive as far as physical books go for how much you get and the type of story. I just felt like it was really cute. It was like Disneyland mixed with Undercover Boss a little bit, and I just liked the character development. I liked how fast it read. I was never bored. I felt like the characters were real people, so that's what led to my 4.5 stars. I feel like it could be 5 stars. I'll have to sit with it for a little bit and I'll let you know in my monthly recap if I change my mind. But overall, absolutely loved reading this. I'm so glad that I used it as part of my 24-hour readathon. Okay, so it took me 8 hours. Is that right? Yeah, 8 hours to read the fine print, which honestly I think is pretty good because I think the audiobook says it's like 11. Okay, 654. So now I need to decide what book I'm going to read next. And my options, let's see, I'm really thinking I want to do a thriller. So my options are First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, or I do have The Coworker as well. I also have The Stand-In on my Kindle, and I've got some fantasy, but I'm really feeling kind of like I want a thriller at this point in the challenge. So this one's about the podcast that she ends up kind of being part of. And I don't have the Kindle version for either of these two. I could theoretically get the audiobook or see where I am in the audiobook weight on Libby. This one says Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want: a doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. I'm kind of thinking none of this is true. I do want to read First Lie Wins, but I just feel like I need to, for this challenge, like read, like really mood read and read things that I really want to read, or else I'm going to not succeed at my challenge. So I think I'm going to do that. How many pages are in this? Let's see. 370 pages in this book, although the font looks really small. So let's go ahead and let's start reading None of This Is True. Okay, I started this and I read for like 6 minutes, and honestly the narration is really interesting because it has like a full cast, like it has a ton of different people, which makes sense because it's about like a podcast, and so you definitely need different voices to make the audiobook stand out and like make everything, I don't know, a little more dynamic. So that's really cool. But my eyes are starting to feel like they're gonna fall out of my head. I don't know how people do this for 24 hours straight. Again, I just am doing the tracking my pages thing, so I think it's fine if it's not completely in succession. Hopefully you guys won't mind. I think it's really more about the stats. And if my eyes feel like they're gonna fall out of my head, it doesn't really matter because I'm not gonna retain what I'm reading. So I'm gonna take a little break. I might, again, go to Target or the bookstore with my friend, we'll see. Or I might just do something completely different and kind of give my eyes a little break. I will come back to this and we'll see, because this sounds really, really fascinating and I kind of can't wait to see where it goes. Okay, I've slowed down a little bit, again, because I think the font has gotten even bigger. And so we're on page 33. It's really good so far. It took me a second. At first I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but it's just, I think it was a big change up from the fine print. So 33. Okay, let's go ahead and do the math for this hour. I know I said I was gonna go places and then I didn't, but I think I'm actually gonna go to Target. So I'm gonna set my phone timer for 1 hour and then just record where I'm at if I'm listening to the audiobook, so that way I can still keep track of this while I'm on the go. Target and grab both of these, the next ones, just because I don't want those really dumb covers, just in case that's the case. And then I think I might run around and do a couple more errands. I'm still listening to the audiobook of None of This Is True. So don't worry, everyone. I'm still reading, still going for a 24-hour readathon, and then I'll go back and see how many pages I've read after a couple of hours. But these are really pretty, and I'm excited to have the whole set. I'm actually a little worried, though, now that the Lakefront one by Lauren Asher is going to have weird covers, but I'm going to check Goodreads, and hopefully that's not the case. Okay, so while I was out, I read for 2 hours, and I am now up to 770 pages total after 14 hours. I still have 10 hours to go. We're gonna keep trudging through this. Trudging is a really bad word. I feel like trudging makes this sound terrible, but honestly, I wish that I hadn't done the hour tracking thing, because then I could just read like most people do, or a lot of people when they do this challenge, they just like sleep through part of the 24 hours. So I am pretty proud of myself for the fact that I'm just continuing on. I am this far into None of This Is True. I've read this much, I have this much to go. Honestly, I'm quite a ways through after 3 hours. It doesn't seem like I'm making that much progress if you look at the chart, but I feel like I actually am. It's hard to really say anything about this book because it is a thriller, and I feel like there's so much that could possibly be spoiled, but we're getting a little bit more about the podcasts and a little bit more about the backstory of the two women and their families, and it feels like there is something amiss, and I feel like they keep throwing out little things that I'm not sure if they matter or not. It's getting very complicated, and there's already been a twist that's like, wait, what? Like, the characters are just taking to it very casually for what it is. So I really like that in the audio version of this, you can actually like hear different characters, and it's very well produced. So if you're an audiobook person, this one's a really good one to get. The next thing that I want to talk about is while I was out, I did show you a little clip of me getting the final offer, which is the third one in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and Terms and Conditions, which is the second one. And what's funny is when you see them all together, so this is the one that I read this morning, when you see them all together, it's kind of comical because I thought that the first one was actually quite chunky as far as books go. But then when you see them all together, the second one and the third one are actually way longer than the first one. And then also on Goodreads, they just keep getting better and better. What's cool is if I think this one has a higher rating than this one, and this one has a higher rating than both of these. I am excited to get to read these at some point, and she already kind of teased who the other brothers were and what they have to do to get theirs. But I'll tell you, I'm loving None of This Is True, but I'm also very much missing, oh my gosh, look at this stack over here. I'm also very much missing Dreamland. So that was an interesting transition to go from Dreamland, which was very Disney-like, to this. But I'm really liking this so far. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. I think I'm probably going to finish it pretty quickly. My guess would be I'll finish this and then I will have maybe like 2 or 3 hours that I'll need another book for to finish the challenge. So I'll be thinking about that as I keep reading through None of This Is True. So let's find my timer and keep reading. We're officially at 8:59 left on my timer. I am on page 151, and this book just keeps getting wilder and wilder. I feel like there's so much to unravel that I honestly don't even know like what is possibly going to happen, because there are so many different threads and so many different things that they're kind of just like dangling in front of us, and then it kind of goes away and I don't know when it's going to come back, like what's important and what's not. I think I mentioned that a couple of check-ins ago. Let's see how I'm doing now. Normally I just put these on the screen, but I figured I would just put this right here. I like how when I abbreviated None of This Is True, it came out as not it, which I might change. I was just trying to make sure I could all fit on the screen for all 24 hours. According to Goodreads, I am 39% of the way through this. It really feels like I'm halfway, so I'm kind of shocked. I feel like I should be further than that by now, but my grand total after 15 hours is 804 pages. Let's keep reading. I have a feeling I might fall asleep because it's getting kind of late. I might fall asleep, so I might have to recap more pages in the morning, and then we'll finish this whole thing tomorrow. Okay, I just made an iced latte for this morning. Hours and 31 minutes left, so it's been a few hours for me but a few seconds for you guys. I only have this much left, if you can see, on None of This Is True. This book is wild. Like, it has taken so many different twists and turns that I feel like I haven't been, like, I've been keeping track of my stats on this little piece of paper, but I haven't like put it into my iPad yet, just because I just wanted to keep reading, and honestly the stats were like kind of driving me crazy that I had to do a check-in every hour, and I felt like I wasn't enjoying the book as much. So I just decided to kind of like keep track of it over there, and then I'll input it once I'm done with this book and I need to pick up another one. I'm pretty sure that I will finish this book in the next hour-ish, I want to say, and then I'll still have probably like 3 hours or something for another book. This book is what I expected, but also is not at the same time. And it's a pretty good thriller. I feel like as far as right now, I feel like I'll rate it like a 4-star, but it's been a ride. This is a really interesting one to just read all the way through. If I wasn't doing this challenge, I would definitely take lots of breaks. Anyway, let's keep going, and I just kind of want to finish this one because it's kind of creeping me out, and I'm really glad it's not nighttime right now. I officially have 2 hours and 57 minutes to go. This book was crazy. I can't decide. I feel like I need to process it for a couple of minutes, maybe a couple of days, honestly. I feel like this book was so confusing, and I really can't say anything without spoiling it because it's just so layered. That's what I will say about this book. So layered. I enjoyed it, but I'm still confused. So for my total pages read, my total pages read are 1,020. I kind of slowed down there. I was reading a really steady 34 pages an hour for a little bit there. It took me a really long time to read this book because I had to go back and read a few parts twice that I had already read because I was like, wait a minute, did I not understand what happened during this part? So I had to go back. So it took me a little while. You can see I kind of sped up there during that 45, 40 zone. And then the end was the 29 because I was really trying to make sure I was paying attention. It actually ended out that I ended up finishing the book pretty close to when the timer was up anyway. So that really worked out. And now it is time to decide what I'm going to read for the last few hours. So I have What the River Knows. This is one that I kind of gave up on a little bit because it was not entertaining me as much as I wanted it to when I was first reading it. I also have Dune, which I'm hopefully going to get to see soon, or Dune 2. I've already seen Dune Part 1, but this book has like both of them in it. I also have When the Moon Hatched, but I'm not sure if I can get into anything like huge right now. And then I also have First Lie Wins, but I just don't know if I can do another thriller after all of that. I also have The Trial of the Sun Queen, which was sent to me this morning, so I might get into this one. I'm just trying to decide what would be a good choice based on, like, I just need something light and kind of easy. Part of me wonders, let's see. Oh, this is super cool. Let's see. So this one is about the Aurora King, the Sun King, a competition. Okay. And then this one was also a book of the month. And this one was about this girl who went to Egypt to find her parents. Part of me feels like I will pick up this one by itself, but I feel like I need something to just get me going. Like, I need something to force me to go back to this one. So I'm going to read, I read like 2 or 3 chapters and then I kind of like let it fizzle out and picked up something else because I just couldn't get into it. But I really want to read it, and the sequel's coming out later this year. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. Don't worry, I'm gonna go for this next, or very soon. It's so pretty, but I just need something a little lighter. After reading None of This Is True, and I feel like this one is like a historical kind of mystery thing, and this one seems a little bit more intense fantasy. So I'm going to go with What the River Knows, and I am going to see if I can get back into this. If I can't, then I'll head over to Trial of the Sun Queen. So let's go ahead and jump into What the River Knows and see how far I can get in the next 3 hours toward my page count. I feel like it'll probably be somewhere around like maybe 1,200 pages total for the 24 hours, which is less than I thought, but I have been reading, like, this book was really intense and the font was quite small. So I think it would, if I did this experiment again, I would probably make them all Kindle books, and that way I could kind of standardize the font a little. And let's continue reading and see how far I can get in this one. Also, this book is really cool because, first of all, it's dedicated to Rebecca Ross, who wrote Divine Rivals, which is pretty cool. And then it also starts with a map of Egypt and a timeline of Egypt. So for anyone out there who was obsessed with Egypt growing up, this one might be for you. It's really cool how she's integrated that into this book, and it isn't clearly just like thrown together. It's very much well thought out. So thought this was really cool. I like this one, looks almost like a hand-drawn map. So let's get into it. Okay, this is really cool. I'm gonna take this off of the tripod so you all can see this, but it has like a little hieroglyph translator, and I'm wondering if we're gonna need this later. This honestly feels kind of like The Mummy a little bit. If you're a big fan of those movies, definitely give this video a like, and let me leave me a comment if you're a fan of the Mummy movies. In the last hour, I read 39 pages, so now I just have a couple of hours to go. I'm on chapter 3, and I really love the design of this book. Whoever designed it, it's gorgeous. I also just found out that this book is on Kindle Unlimited, so I might read a little bit of it on my Kindle because I've been reading so much in a physical book that my eyes are starting to hurt, and so I think I might pick it up on my Kindle. So let's see if I read any faster on my Kindle. So in that hour I made it to page 65, and honestly I feel like I'm getting slower and slower as this challenge goes on because my brain is just so tired. What's funny is this is exactly where I got to last time when I copped out, and I feel like I was reading really slowly this time just to make sure I didn't miss anything that would make it more interesting. I will say I do feel like I'm a little bit more into it this time than I was last time. Oh, that's cool. You know what? I never take the dust jackets off, so that's kind of cool that the book has that little imprint on it. Very interesting. I'm liking it. I have 1 hour to go, so let's see how much further I make it in this book. And I don't feel like I really read that much faster on the Kindle because honestly my brain just hurts. Like, I'm like, what page was I on? 65? Now I have to go back and find it. I'll go back and find it, do the math, 1 more hour, and let's see what my grand total is. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how relieved I am that 24 hours is up, which is a good thing and a bad thing because I loved getting to read this much, but it also was such a task. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much I respect people who do this challenge. And also, before I say anything, this book has such cool art in it, and I really enjoy the fact that this kind of brings it to life. And I do have it on my Kindle since it's on Kindle Unlimited, so if you're interested in reading this, you can definitely check it out on Kindle Unlimited now. And it wasn't on there, but then the second book is coming out in November, I think. And what's cool is it's kind of like a little bit of historical fiction mixed in with like magical realism, which I really like. It almost reminds me of like Heartless Hunter in some ways. I don't even know how to describe it, but it gives me that vibe. So let's see. I read up until page 96, and also I think I realized the reason that I like reading on my Kindle or like paperbacks better is they're a little smaller, so the pages feel less intimidating because it feels like you're getting through more. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at everything that I've read throughout this challenge, and then I'll add all of the page numbers up. So I read this much of What the River Knows, which I think is actually quite a big chunk, and I do feel like I kind of got out of the slump that I was in. I read a lot of Bride. I read the entirety of The Fine Print and the entirety of None of This Is True. So it's kind of a lot in 24 hours, I would say. So let's go ahead and let's do some math and add up the page numbers here. Let's get my super scientific page counter out. And I do want to say before I add all of this up, this has been one of my most fun, but also one of my most labor-intensive videos ever. So any support would be amazing for this video, just because I've worked so hard on it. Like, I've spent over 24 hours, because once I edit this, I'm sure it's going to be more like 30 hours, maybe. It takes a really long time to edit, guys. I can't even tell you. Maybe not 30, but it's going to be more than 24 hours at least. So if you don't mind liking this video, I'm sorry to do a shameless plug, but please like this video just to know how far people made it. And if you don't mind leaving a comment, giving me a comment on something that you liked or one of these books, or if you want to see me do more of these videos, I think I would make it easier on myself next time. Like, maybe I would sleep through part of it, as some people do, or I just simply wouldn't do the page tracking every hour, because I feel like that kind of interrupted my flow a bit. And I think I would have enjoyed it more had I just let myself read. So there's that. But please know that every single second of watch time, every single comment, every single like, it means so much to me on this channel, because I'm not that big of a channel yet. I don't know where I am when you're watching this, but I just appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Brings me to a grand total of 1,116 words in 24 hours, which honestly is a little bit less than what I thought it would be. But you know what? Overall, I'm really proud of myself, and I think that had I changed some of those conditions, or maybe if this wasn't my first go around, I'd be able to read more. But I think it's more important that I enjoyed what I was reading anyway. So 1,116 words in 24 hours. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I hope you did. And I will continue reading this in the next vlog. I'll also probably be reading Trial of the Sun Queen and a bunch of other books. So obviously subscribe if you want to see the next vlog, and let me know in the comments if you want to see any other types of videos like this, and I would be excited to try them. I can also try, if you want to see more, I also have done the looking for a 5-star read. Like, this vlog ends when the 5-star read is found, so I'll link that in the description. And otherwise, again, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for watching this whole video, and I will see you guys next time.